winning, but then they lose the rounds in the end, and it is quite frustrating, I have to say, because you know how capable every single one of these players are on the G2 side, and yeah, performance not quite there yet, or at least the results not quite there yet, because they're 6th and they're up against the 7th team, NAVI. Now, Ying gets banned by G2. So Alamau is not allowed to play on the Ying anymore. It's a counter ban. It's a tactical ban from G2 just to prevent themselves from costing themselves, I guess.
I have no idea what's going on in all chat.
I've no idea either. But we do know that both players on both teams are very talkative here. So that's only going to be giving us an even more active all chat here today, especially with Kayak, mentioned before. He went from G2 to Navi. Doki, who went from Navi to G2. Like, there's so many friends and colleagues across the board, or ex-colleagues, rather. So everybody is well aware of what is going on. Still confusion's going around bans.
I have no idea what's going on.
They're talking
I'm
about
just
the
letting
bans.
it play on. I'm sorry, but I'm sure everybody at home is also just reading all chat. They're like the mind games.
And I want to play FPL
They're
later.
already organising FPL
Yeah.
later. Blur is busy. He's got stuff to do.
Now Citizen is starting to talk Portuguese. Now that's where my language stops. I know English, Dutch, a little bit of German, a little bit of French. Portuguese wasn't in there, so I won't be able to tell you. No, KKK means laughing. You know.
Yeah, that's the love. A lot of Ks in a row.
A lot of Ks, yeah.
Okay. we'll just move away from the chat in the bottom corner and get in with the game in front of our eyes, right in the corner.
Yeah.
Right in the base, the corners of all that this map offers. We start down in the basement, and the corner stretch here is Alamau on the smoke roll. A site that, as we said, they've had some creative defenses. They've been able to bring some sort of flavor town to Oregon town and put a bit of a new touch on it, G2.
Yeah, but they need to make sure that their touch works on either side. You know, you can have the best defensive half in the world, but if you're not going to be able to lock it off on the attack, then how much will it really be worth? Again, this game is observed by the Medics gang. He's all alone today.
Yeah, Easy's off somewhere else, isn't he?
Yeah, he's off. He's just...
Not you. We didn't have you last week.
Yeah, but I was sick. I'm still a bit, actually. I still need to cough every now. Oh, that's quick.
There it is. Blur all the way to the top of T3, seeing if he can try and get a surprise strike and make his way down here. He's hoping the Amaru was able to be a bit of surprise, and
this is some parkour stuff here.
That's it. He hopped over onto the ladder, didn't want to try and make the noise on the drop and take maybe a little bit of a shake here. He's going as silent as possible, and he is heading straight towards the back of the kitchen. If he's gone unchecked here, as a bit of noise is made on the other side, it's a slow creep, and there's an easy pickup. Virtue locked out. Blur says, hello, how you doing? And G2 go, uh-oh.
That's the camera not watched, right? Like, there needs to be someone on the cams at all times, especially during that first minute. You need to try and figure out where they're coming from. And of course, it's an Amaru that just heads into that big tower, then sneaks past the camera as soon as he realizes that's not being watched currently. Citizen Doll swings over aggressively, finds Thunder. That is going to be some grenades off the board. Very helpful later on in this round. But as Nave is trying to go for a bit of a chase now, he might actually find himself being caught here as he flushes himself fully. Doesn't quite know where the actual player is now.
Yeah, and they're on the far side. Prano's making himself an exit, but look at where the Amaru is. They're just sort of sitting on the bottom of the stairs now. They're in a position where they could try and do a two-person pinch onto this single player. There's no real route out. It's a lot of a... There's someone behind you, behind you, behind you, behind you. So the drone is going to see if it can try and offer some clarity. If they can double push up onto this player on the top, they might be able to do something. But in the meantime, there goes the kit. There goes the Yak. And
ooh, that is
there
costful.
Goes Doki.
That is very costful here for the side of Navi. Knife will be able to find Prano, however, so that is going to be the kill. But Doki still, with that diffuser, is going to be able to waste a lot of time. Blur finds Alamau, so the side is slowly being cleared by the side of Navi. But Doki still, with that kid, could be the decisive factor, especially with these grenades being tossed in. Those go way wide, but he now knows someone is out here.
There it is. Doki's just popping up, tries to find the side secretly there, and while he's trying to find it back because 50 seconds, they don't have the kit, and more support is going to make its way over. As long as Doki's alive here, slowing things down, he's entirely stopping this push. Nath finds another confrontation, finds another collection, and it just leaves Citizen quite injured and left alone and alive. Everything has happened off the site itself. Barely anyone has touched any of the boards of it, and I'm kind of waiting to see if this is the expectation of the whole engagement. Citizen, he pulls himself back down towards the site, still has the kit in pocket. They're going for the rotation. They've been able to get down to the pillar, but they're already in wash as well. NAVI, open us up.
Good first round, good entry. The Amaru going into that big tower was able to sneak all the way through, get that clean opening kill without any information being given away. It's like he stepped right through the armor, went back out, and was nowhere to be seen anymore. Just a bit of a ghost there, and was able to basically give that man advantage. Doki picking up the diffuser could have been all round deciding if it wasn't with 1:30 left on the clock. Let's say there was only 30, 40 seconds on the clock, and he finds that kid inside of the small tower. It would have been a done round for G2. And of course, while the site's still being cleared out after you have that kid, that is not something that you would really like to see. Either way, it is back to the bottom floor again. It is a rerun of that previous strategy, maybe somewhat more playing near the actual site rather than on the roam, because there was quite some, well, heavy casualties lost out there.
All right, setting ourselves up here with the second down for G2. A bit of a false start, but you assume there'll be a little bit more attentive nature paid towards a potential sneaky early entrance. We're not going to get the same strike in a similar way. We're going to have NAVI most likely restructure and go elsewhere. They have a bit of a drone coordination where the players are, but again, the highlight of the previous round was the fact that every single fight happened pretty much outside of the site itself. The only one that truly did was a return in the final 30 seconds. So here, NAVI, they might pay a little bit more caution to this early approach. They locked it in, but they don't want to get caught by a sneaky loose G2 player, which has been a bit of a habitual consistent.
Yeah, it's basically what the team revolves around a little bit, right? There's always someone off somewhere causing hassle. And this time it's going to be Doki up in the bedrooms here. Is looking to challenge that big double window. Blur is getting some grenades over as well. We'll get the confirmation that no one is actually there. Sends in a drone instead. So the NAVI team is doing some preparative work as well, opening up barricades, getting nades and drones all around the corner to try and gather information, because they want to get a hold of that meeting room, because that is where most of the G2 members are holding out.
Doki got himself the rotate out of dorms as well. He made sure he wasn't going to get caught. They had a bit of cover there from Citizen, and this time G2, they're making sure they have some blood left in their bodies by the time the push comes to the site itself, because you can lean back into teams aggressively, especially when you know them, but you may as well try and utilize some of the map. Try and pull yourself further and further away, and sure, there wasn't that sneaky catch early on to put you at the disadvantage, but then again, there was also this consistent biting back, and it might have worked in a hero play with Doki on the small tower if he survived a bit longer, but NAVI knows how to respond to those sort of plays. NAVI knows how to respond to these players.
Just a little bit of conf coming right before the storm. 1:30 left on the clock, and as cameras are being taken care of, rotations are being made, and potentially the hatch is being played as well by the side of NAVI now. They need to get control from multiple different angles, and that's why Nave is here at barrels. You want to be pushing in from the hatch, from the big stairs, and of course from barrels all at the same time to not give them just a single point of focus. That grenade will not be catching Virtue, probably wasn't meant for it either, just to get rid of the utility instead, and well, that's what most of the grenades are currently being used for at this moment in time.
Virtue holding on just around Shaiko, waiting for a little bit of the pressure to come through. There's a pop of a smoke canister, and there's a drop of that fire on the default plant. Virtue retakes the stairs and sort of says, well, we're not going to get a push behind the backside of that, Nath. He's holding close. He doesn't want to lose his life too in an attempt at a follow-up, because he doesn't truly know where those G2 players have set themselves up. So it's a bit of a risk, a bit of a dabble, and a bit of a stab around the corner to try and bait it. Doki's holding the long angle, tries to catch the side and the sliver, and, well, catches the player when secretly goes a bit wide. The drop on the hatch gets Doki a double. They swing around to find themselves a few more, and it's a flawless for G2 as a response.
It's even a quad kill for Doki there, just playing from that double door around the pillar, able to pick up quite a couple of kills there. And G2, with a flawless response, is going to be more than happy about that. Now, you got to keep in mind as well that last time they had that early entry, no one really was able to punish them. This time, G2 playing more as a bit of a unit. Bit further back, inside that meeting room, we had someone watching the green hallway. Someone in that kitchen, we had someone in meeting. They all fell back together towards the side at a certain moment in time. And this is how G2 works. They work with a time trigger. As soon as the clock hits a certain amount of time left on the clock, everybody will be trying to head back towards the side and just play out the rest of the round there. At least that's what it seems like for me. That's what I have noticed so far. Not quite sure if it is correct or if it's based off other factors, but it seems to be off time. And that should be counterable if you want to go quick towards the actual site. But the danger, of course, is with the meeting hatch being open, there's always that quick way around. So if you do decide to go for a rush in that basement, you need to be really quick and sure of your capabilities there.
Durkee, he's trying to make a little bit of an adventure here over to small tower. Will he get caught? Well, he'll at least reveal that somebody was here, but removing the drone is just as important because it means, well, that's a drone off the board. If they check that later, it's not a question of having the utility there, but just removing it as an option at all. Nath, he's going to see if he can set himself up with some control here over Armory, angling and generally gesturing towards the idea of a walk-in take here. A pretty standard run with the forest drone, see if it can remove anything that might be buried around Trophy, though there really isn't much outside of the Aruni gate and a little bit inside the bedroom. Mute jammers are sort of set up aplenty as well. It's going to be one of those catches in a very tricky drive to see if you can try and just catch the radiuses and things.
Now, the big thing there is that there is an opening inside the walk-in closet door, and that means that a G2 player will most likely try and swing aggressively as Thunder finds the first. It's a player down below. It's a nice shot that gets called as well, but it seems to be more people out and about. One player inside of CCTV. Thunder finds Virtue as well. He's absolutely on a killing spree here as he finds one onto those white stairs, and G2 being picked apart slowly but steadily.
2 for 2, and, well, now he finds the time to be able to have a moment to respond. There is a bit of a lock-in underneath, and they're trying to just stem any intel as Alamau's working out what he can hold on to, where and how. G2 love to respond with an aggressive take, and that drone's going to reveal just the position he was in. He's able to slip his way back in, but as you said, there's an opening there. So there's a lot of places that they can swing themselves out at that NAVI are aware of. They're keeping themselves a little bit stretched away. They're making sure that they can set their drones in, pull their intel. They've got the 5 versus 3, and the only change right now is generally the Citizen rotation around underneath. He's got himself into kitchen. They've got the cover over attic. Who is going to be able to strike first?
The idea from G2 here on that defense is purely to try and challenge that master bedroom, but Navi's not really giving into that. They're taking a fight to literally every other place in the map, and so far have been able to find 2 kills of it. Now, as the grenades coming in from the big window here, they should be aware of the fact, G2 that is, that someone is out here, but Navi's literally all over the map, and G2 nowhere to be found on the side. It's just Prano near that white stairs there, and then we have one near the trophy, and Citizen still below with a pre-play C4, so it's not even going to be able to guide that. And with Thunder going down, that's a very important turning point.
Well, Nath follows, but secretly at least keeps the body balance in their favor. Citizen with the pre-place, as you pointed out, pops off and gets secretly. It's the 2 versus 2, and still a fight underneath. They're trying to hunt down Blows. Just going to use the grenade to cover his rotation and get himself out of there. But with Yak with the kit, they're going for the 2 versus 1 fight inside the site. They almost suffer, but Blur's able to slink his way through. Alamau doesn't have the full watch, but does almost have the second. There's the kit gone cold. Just tried to sprint his way through, and Alamau pulls the pistol out, and you can see the energy as G2 tie 2.
That's what they need there. Good round from them in the end. I mean, it started off strong, right? Wrong, I have to say. Strong for Navi. 2 early entries up on that bottom floor. One that tried to rotate out from white to provide some help to Citizen. And, of course, the first one onto Doki playing in that kitchen. Both picked up. And Navi was able to try and push on from that. If it wasn't for Thunder being picked up by the shotgun close around the corner from Prano from those white stairs. And that is a position, I think it could have been naded out. It could have been vertically played because he wasn't up on the top of the white stairs. He was like close around the corner, right on the soft flooring. So easily able to be taken out from below with a grenade. But of course they lacked the information. They didn't have his exact position pointed out. And now it's 2-1. G2 leads, headed towards, I believe that is the kitchen meeting. Yeah, kitchen meeting. Bomb side it is.
We've generally seen a huge preference change for this away from small tower and the dining side. It used to be a little bit of a 50-50 as the third choice, but you rarely see dining anymore.
Yeah, okay, so the meeting is a bit easier to hold with the defenders, especially if you think of repick, for example. Small tower is just such an important site, such an important area for the defense, but there's almost no way you can hold on to it anymore. And of course, you often saw the half shower hold coming through, but those easily get destroyed now as well because, well, with repick, you can just pick whatever is necessary. Is there a clash on the board? Well, we'll pick a Kappa Tower and Nomad or Zofia instead. Just, you know, you can pick whatever you need to get rid of it. And just by default, the meeting room is a bit more defensible based on gunplay and long angles that you can create there.
Well, the important part that you have to do, whether you're trying to take over this site or not, is try and put a bit of pressure above if you're going for the kitchen point, and that seems like Dorms is that angle rather than from the attic split. You'll see Thunder trying to apply some pressure here onto Zulu and lock on the other side. A very long opening there all the way to the top, and they're going to give themselves that extension and see if they can try and catch anybody above. Again, if you're going for the stage side, you still get a good control of attic, but you at least try and batten down the hatches onto the stage itself. Here, they're shaping themselves up for more of an idea around kitchen.
I was going to say, this seems to be more of a kitchen attack here because a lot of utility is being used near the top of the kitchen, near the top floor, the bedrooms. So, you know, they really want to go here. There's not much left if they do want to go for a rotate. So with that, NAVI really have committed already with just 1 minute and 40 left on the clock. Thunder going up is in a crucial position here. He needs to find an entry. He gets a ping. He knows who one of these players is. He just needs to find and connect the shots now.
Nath is also on the other side of this. They're so ready to go for this push. They've got to get the connection, and it doesn't quite get the full connection. Prano, he's with that Echo drone. He's watching the approach, and he loses out as Thunder just drives his way through. Suffers in the smoke with Doki picking up blood down underneath inside the dining area. Alamau with the shotgun is ready for anyone that tries to hop in through the double window. As Virtue, he's holding on for dear life here in the back corner. They've obviously got his number, got him pincered and pinned, and they're peppering every single angle with bullets. He's gonna take the drop, especially because they're able to get the very important kill onto Blur. It picks up down in Zulu. Alamau bounces back and takes a drop of his own. There's nobody to catch him at this point, but they've done the clearing job of above 40 seconds to face their way down towards the plant.
Yeah, and with the drop from Alamau as well, from that security, that is now off the board as well. He's trying to rotate back up from the freezer. This grenade is going to get caught by Wamai Disc. That's actually going to be absolutely detrimental. Deals a lot of damage to Yak as well. Now goes for that plant. They need to find secretly on that cover before this plant does go down. Some unlucky timing coming through there, but it seems like it's gone down. 45 seconds and a 3-on-2 retake for G2.
Citizen digs in, gets the first kill on the plant to cover. They still have vertical, but they're going for the retake over the top. Yak, a huge kill to be able to take that fight there. Nath with one of his own. That was Doki, who went for the flank up on the second story, and that means Alamau is stuck. Does he try and take the fight up top first? It seems like with the pings, he's going to go for it. He doesn't quite have the loose connection, though. They've just got out of there, Nath, all the way back on the attic swing.
NAVI definitely had some information on Alamau as well there. They knew he was going upstairs, otherwise you're not pulling back into the attic like that. You need to have that vertical control covered, and when they knew that one was swinging up those stairs, you just fall back, you play passive, you waste as much time as you possibly can because the defender, he's not going to go away before he finds and neutralizes you up on that top floor because you can take that bottom floor swing, right? And you can go for the defuse, but if it's right underneath an open hatch, there's no way you're going to be able to stick that through the end. And with that, NAVI find their second round as well. G2 back towards the bottom floor they go. See if they can find success yet once again. It's 50-50 on both sides. No, on one side so far. This one was, first of all, lost due to the Amaru going up top, having a bit of a parkour over the beam, up to the ladder, sneaking all the way through and getting the opening kill, and then pulling back out. You know, being safe again. And NAVI was able to live on the back of those entries. The second time around, G2 played a little bit more aware of their situation. You know, people were watching Grain, people were watching the kitchen and the split, so there was no true way, sneaky way in. And thus they were able to hold out a little bit longer and actually live till the trigger time to fall back.
Okay, they have some of those Vulcans spread out quite far. That one on the soft there is hoping to see if they can try and, I guess, slowly approach or scare them. And they're just going to go for the roll down on the opposite side.
I think if you break that window, it automatically explodes because the barricade is gone. So that's why it's on there. It's going to get pinged, however, so Thunder probably will be taking it out. Might actually leave it on if they have. No, okay, yeah. Not taking the risk there of it popping up later when you're just passing by suddenly, or someone having to jump through that window in a bit of panic.
Once again, the site It's kind of empty. G2, they're trying to bait the play from a bit of range as they did before. The Warriors, they get caught halfway. Doki doesn't want to take the risk of being that first name off the board once again, an unfortunate habit he's made a bit of a habit of recently. The pressure's going to come around onto the side of Blue and Elbow, and Alamau takes that as the cue to return towards this corner. They have to make sure they keep an angle and an eye. When you're playing this far away, sure, you need to make sure you have a bit of an outstretch, a bit of a tunnel, and a bit of a route round back to the site for those loose players, but at the same time, if they're putting pressure onto the site, if they're putting pressure onto barrels, regardless of what they're doing elsewhere, that's still your main point.
Around this time is when the G2 players start to fall back towards the site. Might still have one left straight up on the hatch, but no, Yak actually finds a Virtue before he's able to drop. And that means there's only 4 members left. So where we started with just a single player on the side is now 4 again, back on the board with 80 seconds left to go. Thermite charge is being used to open up some of these hatches. They want to create multiple entry points, because if you do just go down from that singular hatch, you are going to get picked up by Doki like the last time around here.
Well, Doki is watching to just try and get an idea of where the approach is coming from. Whether he caught that drone or not, you'll still assume that somebody's going to try and swing you from this stair set, and the drone goes even deeper. Maybe got the reveal on a player on pillars. Alamau's keeping some of this extension safe so they can keep Shaiko strong as well. It's a very sort of set-up hold to repel exactly this kind of approach. Yak's ready above the hatch inside stage as well to go for a bit of a drop. There's a catch, there's a slow, and there's an Alamau going back towards the site as Navi think of a plan.
No reinforcements actually on that wall, so they won't even be able to close that off late. Secretly now dropping through the hatch. The kills are all coming in, but they're all on the G2 side. Nave finds one finally, but the diffuser has been dropped. 20 seconds on the clock. Goes for a bit of a knife check to see if someone was around the corner. Seems to be the case. It's 2 of them, actually, and as he finds one, it's the shotgun shell, the buckshot, and the team secret. English shotgun that finishes him off. And G2 will be able to win that bottom floor yet once more. It's a 3-2. And they desperately want to lock this off with a 4-2, especially how their attacks have been going so far. So a little pressure on this last round.
That's it. It's obviously not just us looking at Navi's attacks and sort of being like, okay, they haven't been great on attack, because this is the map where G2 have struggled on their attacks. This is the map that, sure, we've seen G2 have good days on attacking. It's not like Navi where it's sort of the average is generally heavily skewed, but 2 rounds on attack has been Navi's average, and you're looking at them if they're able to fight for 3-3 here, and suddenly G2 are on what is their weaker side on this map specifically. It raises a couple of questions, and well, I guess for their sake, if we do get into that situation, they've got to try and prove a couple of points that they've been able to fine-tune some things based on the mistakes that they've made on their approaches before.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not much time in these super weeks. It's, of course, the last super week, but next Monday will still be a little bit tough for these teams. Of course, with just limited time in between. After that, we're going back to 7 days off before the next Playday. Which means that G2 only had, I believe, 3 now, which means that it's not much. It's not a lot of time to try and fix these mistakes. So let's see how they did after the next round has passed. Because they're on the defense still, and they're up on the top floor, and some of the issues we saw here was them basically losing a lot of members a bit too early on. And they created this site. They set it up in a way where they were going to be able to aggressively swing all around the corner, but they never really got to do it because Navi was too quick to strike. And talking about striking quickly, that's probably what Nath is trying to do here with that knock.
Oh, there's a bit of a reveal there. Unfortunately for him, he thought the bullets were coming through directly onto him, but it was a bit of a spray elsewhere, and that removes the game. There was always the barbed wire, but they're just going to have to try and absolutely bash that player out of trophy. Yak gets a catch once again, and he's been pretty sharp for his role, but there's Citizen also being a little bit sharp and biting back. Nath is removed. The Nook tried a sneaky play, couldn't quite get the full finish, but they've at least been able to stretch and get themselves in a tight position. Secretly knows there's a player on that corner. It's Citizen who's trying to find a route out, and everything's being pre-fired through. There's a catch. Yak with a double, and again, his good game is continuing.
There was only a single way he could go. He used that C4, got himself stuck there, secretly watching his way back out. So when you throw that grenade in that exact same corner, the only way is either to go through the lobby, which was being watched, or into the garage, which was pre-fired. Yak finds yet another kill. It's a triple for him. And Thunder waiting around the corner will pick up a 4th for Navi here. It's just up to Alamau now in a 1v4 and 90 seconds left. There should be no way Navi loses this round here. It should be a 3-3, but we've seen crazier things happen.
They're not going to risk it too much. They know that they've lost the diffuser a couple of times and going for these sort of charges and swings into the site. There's the first drone, goes for a reveal, and Alamau baited the idea, but that gun does not have a lot of bullets, and that is the huge worry, because if he gets into just one extended firefight, it's over. Finds the isolating on the first. Goes for the reload. There's a grenade making its way up from underneath. Oh, and that's going to be the full stop. You can't really defend from that, unfortunately. Well played and placed in a 3-3 half.
The ping just came out from his teammates as well. Like, be careful. That's where it's coming from, and indeed it did. Picked up from that, an even half, and that is good for NAVI compared to what we've seen. Citizen calling out, he's got baited by Doki, and that is something
Have you been baited by Doki? Please call this number. And our professionals are here to offer some support.
There's a lot of people that get baited by Doki every now and then, I've heard.
We here at Baited by Doki will guarantee you a win.
Swing Doki, he's right side. He didn't swing, I guess. That's how Citizen died. That's what I make up out of it. Either way, 3-3, good split for NAVI, and let's see if they can continue now onto their defense, because G2's attacks, they have been looking troublesome. Need to have some improvements here. They need to have brought an update to their attacking strategies. Let's see indeed whether or not they have. The glass was on the board, so it was a Blackbeard from Citizen. Now, those are normally two operators that don't actually make it through, and indeed they did get repicked. An Amaru and a Finka. Now we are basement. The Amaru is not really the operator that comes to mind when you think of the basement. Kind of defeats the point of the Gara hook. But we've seen it used in a different way earlier in round 1 by NAVI. And I think that's exactly what Almau's doing. Yeah, up to T3 we go. And we'll be trying to descend very quickly here. Maybe with or without taking out the camp, but at least he now knows this part of the map is clear. Hey, that's a rotation into attic. Might there be a player there?
Wow, they're going to find out sooner rather than later. You can see the drones whirring above him, and you can see the player actually slip their way through onto Trophy. Yak, he's all alone, and Alamau might be aware of that sooner than Yak expects. He actually just slinks out of there. I think he realizes there's a little bit of pressure. Whether he knows he was caught on a drone or not, he's going to find himself moving from spot to spot. He has been able to get very far, and with that soft, he gets even further. Somehow escaped, and Alamau, well, he had an idea, but he didn't quite know just how close he was to pulling that player out.
I think it's more of a getting an idea to go down those stairs, but instead was a bit distracted by the rotation being up there and decided to explore the attic instead. Unfortunately, not able to find anybody, and I believe that every single player of NAVI have now fallen back towards the basement here, and Alamau is going to be challenging those big tower staircases towards the actual site. See if he can pick up someone with that G3 LMG. Of course, a bit slightly less big magazine than the LMG. Only has 53 bullets in it, I believe. Only 50, to be exact.
Oh, they shot high, and well, Thunder shot a little bit low. They didn't quite have the full connection with each other, but they're well aware. But you always kind of are. Here's a bit of the work now being done to the hatches. A minute 20 and no direct confrontation has happened as of yet. Citizen, he wants to try and lead his way through down on towards Freezer's side. They're going to get themselves the hatches. They think they have an awareness of secretly sat at the bottom. He's a big player to isolate and get out of there. Nath is covering that support and that backline as the grenades are about to start bouncing. He really wants to take the time, but he's actually just going to smoke his way off and move back, blinded on the hatch, which means they don't have the full cover and support. Secretly still tucked in on a close corner here. He still has a lot of utility in his pocket, and Nate's offering everything he can to stop him just being grenaded out, but it's just being watched, and they just get the pickup. Citizen with the opener, 40 seconds.
Thought it was going to be safe there with that smoke canister. Clearly wasn't, as he got picked up. The entry death of the round gives G2 an opportunity here, but with 30 seconds left, they truly need to start punching towards the site now, and, well, with Yak close, and Nath as well near the freezer. 2 of the entry points are already being locked off, so let's see what G2 can make out of it.
They have the watch down, they have the grenade rolling its way out either side, Freezer and onto Pillar. There's the drop, there's the fight. Nath can't quite stick it, it's Citizen, but Doki and Blur have an exchange on the far side. The spray out onto Barrels, an important one for Thunder to take and keep. Over towards the corridor, the only man left, and again, the problems with this gun is it just does not carry a lot of bullets. They're going to see if they can stick the plant. Prano on the far side and well protected. Oh no! Oh yes, at least this time they have a bit of cover in the right angle.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem to be the worst or best protected angle that he's currently in, but the LMG over the shoulder with Citizen behind it, I think that is plenty of cover to have there. G2, 4-3. will lead again. A good attacking start here, able to find that entry and, you know, the subsequent entries at the same time when they started dropping these hatches.
I feel filthy. LMG. Citizen, not an LMG aficionado.
No, but Doki's begged him apparently to start using it. And, well, I mean, if you are the backpack carrier from G2, then I guess it's only fair that you get a properly equipped weapon to do it with.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell Citizen
I'm not going to tell him
what
what
guns I think
either.
he should use. Doki, I guess, is in much more of a position, but I feel like it was more like a just use it.
Just submit.
I mean, it went well, Citizen. Whether you want to keep using it, I guess, is down to your personal preference because you sounded a bit disgusted, but maybe disgusted at how powerful they are.
I mean, disgusted in victory is better than disgusted in defeat. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, you know, it's better to just give in. Just take it. Take that 100 bullets. Join them. Join the LMG group. Start firing down. He's bringing it again. Quick grenade will be cooked and gets rid of any PC utility that would be underneath the double wall. However, it has been opened up as well by NAVI. Secretly, somehow gets himself caught off by Citizen and the LMG. That was just a blind fire through the window there. We'll be able to find the kill as a result as well when he checks twice. And that is going to be the second time in a row he used the entry def here.
Oh, an unfortunate run of 2 rounds there for Secretly, but at least he put in a little bit of a fight in the first and burnt some time here. That's such an early drop, and
Grenade.
it really just allows them to sort of restructure around this 5 versus 4 take. You find yourself in these close trade-to-trade engagements a lot of the time, and you know everybody in the server can gun. So how can you build it behind this G2 after an early opener round that, to be fair, still came down to the wire? You've got to make sure that you're on top of the time.
Quick rotation made there, I believe, by Nave through the wall up onto the stairs. Yeah, indeed, had been. He was stuck between the garage and in that corner, and, you know, where Citizen didn't have a way out as he used this C4, Nave definitely had. He used the Remadash right through the wall to give himself an escape route. And that means he lives. He fights for a later stage in this round. With 90 seconds left on the clock, G2 have figured out that the wall indeed had been opened up, so they need to be a little bit more careful there. Pranos of services not quite needed, but Nave close around the corner here. Might have been spotted. Yes, Salamau heard him sneak up. It's actually the drone in the corner that might have seen the gun peek around the corner, picks up the kill, and it's a 2-1 advantage now.
Well, G2, they're starting to light some of these NAVI players on fire. We have a minute left in this round. They've been able to get the 2 kills off the site and start their, procession in towards trophy itself. The grenade bounces around, gets caught by an ADS. Thunder can keep playing this for now, but with the window open, there's always that bit of caution. They've already lost 1 player to it. You cannot risk a second. Walk in. Can't quite get fully opened as of yet. Then we just had, I think, a gun 6 pop off underneath, and that'll give them that swing, that'll give them that drop. Oh no, they had half of it open already. The gun 6 just came through flat.
No, they reinforced it again afterwards. So they did use the gun 6, I believe, from below, so from the classroom window, because they did go for that reinforce later on, try and stop them, and the next thing that tries to stop them is the smoke canisters that now pop.
Well, Citizen's knocking on the door, 20 seconds, and you still have a couple of those canisters in pockets. So you have to try and drive yourself a bit closer. 2 grenades, make use of them virtue, and the first finds nothing. The swing round onto the top of the stairs. The ping came a bit late, but sure didn't from the response there. Prano, he's able to get one. They're going to see if they can stick the kit. In the meantime, it's Blur underneath. He doesn't quite know the angle, though, and now we're in a post plant. That smoke canister will do a little bit more damage, but they at least get a catch on a single player, although they're now only a single player. Prano gets his second for the round as Thunder goes down. They know that he's there, and Alamau finishes him off. The first time we've had a 2-round difference, 5-3.
And it's on G2's attacks, and that will be giving them some good hope, some good spirits here. You're seeing them shout as well, and, you know, normally would like to break down how the entry threat came through, but I believe it was just Citizen spraying through the window and saw he downed someone, so he finished him off. And secretly, unfortunately, at the wrong place at the wrong time, find himself killed first. Good use of the gun 6 there later, though, when they did reinforce off that wall. It's a bit of a risky move from Navi when you just lost someone from that window there, when you know people are out on the balcony, to send someone in to close it off. But it worked out. Just temporarily, though, because some quick piece of utility, they get the opening done, the plank goes through. And when, yeah, like Kayak went actually downstairs. He rotated around to try and go for a bit of a flank, I believe it was. But at that moment in time, the complete, like, execute on the site was already coming down. So it might have been a bit mistimed there.
All right, Navi, we've talked about what you can do on your defense, and we talked about how G2 struggled on their attacks, but I guess, to be honest, G2, they've learned a couple lessons here. These attacks, although they don't seem to have some of the flourish that we saw their previous Playday here, we remember the Ossa, we remember some of these sort of more interesting angles that they tried to run. It didn't work, and to be fair, the Playday before, it wasn't as interesting, and it didn't work then as well. But this, going back to a little bit more of that standard, a little bit more of that default approaches here, putting a little bit of a change up in who's playing what operator has started to pay some dividends. They've been able to lean in and, well, not this round though. There's Blur. He's decided he's had enough of them losing that entry.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. Probably Citizen that just started firing with the LMG, creating some lines of sight, and just the tracers being retraced. Yeah, just look at the amount of bullets that were on that table there. So definitely being traced there. Thunder, however, almost being traded out instantly afterwards here on that main door, but he's not deciding to fall back completely. He's still around. Prano, if he gets awareness of this, might be able to find a response as Doki finds a kill.
Yeah, Doki gets a bit of revenge, finds Blur, and they're still going for a bit of a clear underneath. We see a lot of drones wearing away. Thunder is probably the next to find himself under a bit of pressure. There's some damage done by the grenades towards that backside of dorms, and they're going to see if they can try and go for some. And there's Yak actually caught out elsewhere. Alamau over the top of Attic, I believe. Might have been able to find that as, yep, there it is. And well, now they've got this drive and this control underneath. Thunder is sticking it out for as long as he can, though. He's pretty injured. It will only take a bit of a scrap through the roof for him to sort of suffer. So if they get the read that he is playing around Zulu, it could end very quickly.
Even a slightly misplaced grenade will be able to finish him off there, because just a little bit of scrap or a single bullet to the lag will also do the job there. There's going to be a bit of a friend here of Nave that tries to go for a refrag, but a grenade that gets dropped now on the ground as Nave takes the head of clean. Doki is going to bring back the body balance a little bit in favor of Navi, but G2 still a man ahead.
It's important to keep leaning in. You got to try and keep that pressure hot, because if you don't, then they'll just move into that free territory. You can see that G2 is trying to cut their way around this. They've realized where the two players are. They caught one with a gunfight and one with a Flores drone, so instead they're going to try and focus and sally up on side the site instead. Now, with a bit of a rotate round, Secretly's found himself watching and hoping that they were going to try and swing their way through the laundry side, but no, G2's actually going to focus instead around E-Box Hatch. Keep themselves on a traditional push here where things have gone slightly better, and there's the drive, the drop there onto that barbed wire. It's not going to quite stop Nath, but if they don't know he's here, this could be huge.
They don't know. They haven't droned it. So Nath is still going to be out here, and as soon as they want to go for the drop and go for the plant, Nath is going to be here to stop this from happening, because they didn't check. And with that first RC, you could have quickly checked around the corner, didn't decide to do that. One gets pinged out now, though. Brano is on the droning duty, doesn't go far enough either. Nave in a perfect position here.
They've just got to wait. They're going to hold on to blue and make sure Nath goes undetected, because he is the main piece.
Oh, no way, Nath!
There's one.
No way,
He's just got to wait. He's just waiting. Oh, this is the tragedy of the season. And there it is. Stuck in a corner, and who's to blame? Bad droning gives this attack a bad name.
Misdroned 3 times, I have to say there, and yeah, that's the laughs coming out on either side. But he was just waiting there. He was just sitting there, and you know, where some people would fire their bullets straight away, he saw, okay, Thermite's not watching me, and he's gonna dig in deep there, and he's gonna start planting. That means that I can just let the time run out, because it takes 7 seconds. There's only 5 left. Wait until the 0 mark hits. Get that kill, or maybe even slightly before, to reduce the chances of you being refragged. You see it here. Look. It just sneaks by.
You know, when
check.
It's when the audience knows something that the people in the play do not.
Yeah. And he shoots him slightly before the clock hits 0, but that's, of course, you know, at this point, there's not enough time that someone can actually get there in time and pick up that diffuser. So just in case you were going to get swung from the hallway because someone could be out there, or in case your teammate does indeed die and the push comes from either side, you want to make sure that diffuser is at least down and that they will not win on the back of time.
He can't hear you. He's got his earpods. Okay, we find ourselves heading to meeting and stage. As we said before, this has turned into pretty much the de facto third site for a lot of teams. It has, as we said, you don't have to have the reliance on small tower. You can just sort of set yourself up with a hold above in dorms, which is easier to structure than one into small tower and into showers, into that sort of side of things. So for pretty much every single team, we have seen the rate and the pick around kitchen and dining absolutely plummet.
Yeah, for sure. And the win rate of this side is going up and up and up as well. You know, normally when we see a stage take, it is quite successful for the attackers. There is definitely, you know, some ways to get rid of it. Let's say C4s, let's say smokes or echo drones. But also shields are being brought time and time again as well to just stop that from happening, to just make sure you have a bit of a safe spot to go for a plant after you wasted all that utility. Nothing like that is going to happen here, though, because they're starting to open up into the master bedroom, and Thunder is fortifying his position here inside the attic. Yak is down there as well. Surely a drone should be coming around the corner here. Surely they should be aware that there is some players out there, and a grenade gets called off by the ADS.
Well, the spray round and Thunder gets the full connection with Doki's face. Takes a lot of damage in his own way, but still, the important entry statistic goes into their favor. Right around the top of the site itself, they went for a drive, and Citizen went for a journey, a flight, and it was helped by the wings of Nath, if those are a C4 underneath his feet. Alamau's trying to see if he can get a bit of a bite and hope someone swings into him, but NAVI, now they have the two-body extension, they're not going to suffer the same. A ping on a pre-placed C4, just to remind them where it is. Wait for the call, and it gets the down onto Alamau. And, wow, unfortunately, your finger's off the board.
And he's going to be picked up soon, though. Right here, Virtue trying to get him. Some pre-fires through the floors are coming through. The shotgun shells might come as well. No. We'll stay out for now. And a minute left in the clock on a 3-on-5 situation here. NAVI have the cards that they need to win this one here. And that is probably what they were hoping for as well. They want to get this to a 5-5 situation. Push G2 into another disadvantageous one where the pressure is truly upon them. The first two attacking rounds are great. Ever after, NAVI seems to have the upper hand.
Now, what are you going to be able to do here, G2? There's 40 seconds, and yeah, you're 3 versus 5, but you've been able to pull yourself back from these sticky situations before. You just got to try and find a way to funnel yourself in, and mistakes happen. But there's at least the start of maybe a build back in, a breakthrough onto the shower side. They're looking towards kitchen. They've got some control. Yak's going to rotate his way back in over the top of attic, and Thunder's just holding back, waiting for a little bit more support. Prano pops the wall, and Animal's going to lead in around the corner and hope that somebody swings in. But here, just misses the backpack, but just takes over the verticality. There's Nath, and he's got one. Yak doesn't have to reveal his play, and, well, does when he punches someone in the face. We're back level.
5-5, NAVI has been able to find 2 defensive rounds in a row, which means the third need to come in before they can go back to one of the previous 1 rounds. But I think they're more than happy to do so, and it will be up towards that top floor. Now, I believe... No pause, maybe pause, possibly. No. We're just continuing here. No pauses coming through yet. And that means we're headed towards that top floor now. Let's see if G2 is going to be able to get another attack to go their way. Let's see if they are going to be able to catch secretly, for example, off guard yet once more. Because the 2 rounds that they did win, they did catch secretly off guard. And now he is being a bit more patient, a bit more careful. And it seems to be working out just fine for them. Again, the opening made in the master bedroom / games wall. Just to make sure that they can swing aggressively if they want. They can get smoke canisters out there or impacts if they just decide to go for a bit of an exothermic. But probably a reinforcement will be kept in pocket just to close it off again if need be.
5-5, and this game is really not slipping out of anybody's hands at this point. We knew it was going to be a little bit of a grudge match in terms of 2 teams that know each other very well, and in terms of a map that offers itself up pretty well to it. But with how G2 has picked this a few times now throughout this split, I sort of expected it to be a little bit more decided, but it really is turning into a very different fight every single round. It's not like we're seeing the same sort of approaches and executes. It really is just, okay, this is this round where this has happened, and we've got an early strike and a C4 play, and now we're on to a fight where nobody's on the same side.
Now, quick fallback there, actually, from Doki, and Black Eyed is being spotted on the other side of the wall there. Tried to fire through the concrete. Doesn't quite work. But NAVI mostly back on the side. Nave still off, has that C4 in pocket, of course. Is most likely going to try and use that vertically from below to catch some of the attackers off guard. For example, when they try and put down an exothermic or when they try and go for a plant spot. Now, him being out there is... What is Citizen waiting for? Okay, that got opened up by a teammate. And they open it up from that side to not give away that he's actually playing inside dining, I think.
Yeah, that gives them an angle to hope that somebody swings through and tries to offer something back in, but also he's got grenades and a pretty good arm, so that's going to be always this possibility. Setting himself up and just checking that nobody's on a sneaky approach here. They're going for the drone round. They've suffered at the hands of misdroning before, and by God, they don't want to repeat that.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're not really checking out green, so the flank drone will be set up. Nave is, of course, out here. Citizen actually moves his drone back into a different position here throughout the kitchen. They don't seem to be aware of what they want to drone because Citizen's just driving around here. I mean, they know CC is clear. They know the kitchen is clear. Maybe he's just watching up the hatch or trying to get some sound cues from there on. I'm not quite sure, but what I do know is that 60 seconds are left, and that's a missed drone because Nave is around the corner here. He's waiting. He's going to be able to strike yet once. Oh, the drone gets checked this time, but he escapes.
That was so almost another tragedy written in G2's blood, but the last second someone swings back in, drops before they open up the rotation to make sure they don't get shot and swung through. A very smart combination there, and that gives Nath a bit of an extension, a bit of time, and G2's still unsure. They're really trying to work out exactly where people are, and now there's one more loose thread that they got a sniff of, but it is entirely flitted away on the wind down towards the basement. Another drone? Oh, it just turned on again. Nath is having terrible luck, but 20 seconds, he can sit there. They got to put the pressure on the site, and any eyes he keeps are his. They're going to go for it, try and force their way through. 2 kills almost instantaneously. It's all down to Prano, who wins a very important duel and hops in. Yak's trying to get some cover on the far side. They're able to stop that man. Can he get underneath and stop this? Nath, he's going up with a dig, but they have the cover and the watch. They've got a plant on the back line, and well, they at least almost pick up one, but it's Alamau to drive them back in. G2 are the first of the 2 onto map point.
Okay, got quite close. They're actually trying to get the second shot out, unable to get it through in the end. Alamau with the LMG, and indeed, it is getting quite close. G2 on 3 points here. So they have 1 confirmed. They can lock in the full 3. That would put them into 4th here, still in contention for that major. But them losing any points here is seriously going to be hurting their chances and their opportunities here. So they really need to nail down this final attack of regulation time. Round 12. We're headed to the basement yet once again. Now, the last time, G2 started off really strong here, but remember what happened? The corners were not checked. The missed drones came through, and Nave was able to just sit there, patiently let the time run out, take the clean headshot, and win the round for NAVI. Now, that is something G2 needs to prevent, and surely they have learned from that mistake. But the pressure still is on. And if they are a little bit slower on their approach than they are the last time, then maybe a missed drone will creep in again. Or maybe over-droning, which costs them extra time, will start to happen.
All right, well, NAVI, you've been able to fight your way back to level footing time and time again, but this side has been a little bit more, well, a little bit less actually, back and forth. Both teams have been able to thread 2 rounds in a row. Can G2 keep that trend and lock this off for the full 3 points? The importance putting them in 4th, or will NAVI be able to sort of claw themselves back in? Because it's always worth considering that at this point, dropped points can be just as frustrating for G2. They should have won the last time they were here, and they didn't. They dropped 2 points, but dropping any more, and you're fighting in that middle of the table so messily.
And now they're definitely droning everything here. The small tower is completely being checked out. They know that's clear now. Checking out the dining as well, but have they checked the showers? Now, doesn't seem to be the case. Doki's deciding that it's time to enter. You know what's going to happen. Nave's just going to be picking up that kill quite freely unless Doki's checking the corner, which he is doing, and he finds the kill. Barely lives, but that could have been Nave striking again as he just keeps on hiding in every single corner he can find.
I mean, it really is. It's Game of Drones.
Very good. Okay. I had a different reference.
It's Game of Drones, but this time it comes through. And this time they're able to at least get that opener. Doki obviously is the role of the thinker, can get themselves boosted and healed back up. They're potentially going to keep onto the last one just in case, but I guess it's always up to Doki to try and beat that drive round. Citizen back on the Yana. They think they can have a little bit more, but Yak, he's still sitting pretty at the top of T3.
And the drones are coming out, but are they checking currently? Well, they're going to try and do some parkour. This is a skill that Okay, never mind. He's just going to quit. But they did get the ping, though, it seems. So they seem to be aware of the fact that Yak is out there. That's a great that comes in. Beautifully placed by Doki. That's a double for him. He's coming up. He's shining now when they need him most. And they need to find 3 more for the full 3 points.
That's it. We talked about him on the desk before, about not quite having the same effect he had when the team was in a different state and stage. When he was wearing the Navi jersey, it was a bit built behind him. And here, well, that one's caught there. Saves his life. But he still follows through. A triple for Doki, and he's keeping them at pace. He's keeping them at bay. He's almost keeping a 4th name behind the end of the barrel of his gun. He's obviously used all of his stims. No more free heals for him, but secretly he's just going to smoke the stairs, make sure they don't have at least 1 point of entrance because they're steadily losing blue. And look at the rest of the players as well on the far side. They're getting a bit of a close down here from the side of Alamau.
Yeah, the time is slowly ticking out as well. However, 20 seconds on that clock. And as the hatch drop comes through, Doki is in. Are they aware, though? He swings around the corner. He finds one. That's a quad kill. Is he going for the ace to lock this off? Yes, he is! Doki finishes it off with the ace. Wins the match for G2. And where we said on the desk before, he doesn't shine here as much as he did on Navi as of yet. He comes in through at the right end of it with a beautiful ace.
GG troll game from Virtue. And he might have baited you before, Citizen. He might have baited a lot of the team. But pulling an ace in the final round and having a bit of a show up